My name is Ziad Burjoni, Automation Manager and Engineer for Tamaki Control.
I'm Brian Ingham. I'm ANZCO Foods Operational Technology Manager.
Tamaki Control is a leading international provider of advanced control systems for industrial applications. With a reputation for innovation and reliability, Tamaki Control offers a wide range of customizable solutions designed to optimize performance, increase efficiency, and improve safety in various industries, including food and beverage, manufacturing, and energy. We did this project for ANZCO Foods. ANZCO Foods is a global food company that specializes in the production and export of premium meat products, sourced from trusted farmers in New Zealand. ANZCO Foods serves customers in over 80 countries worldwide and is recognized as a leading player in the international meat industry.
In mid-2021, we needed to develop a new SCADA framework for the SCADAs across ANZCO's 10 New Zealand sites. Other than obsolescence and lack of standards, one of the key drivers was to ensure we could implement an operational technology strategy. This strategy was to enable people to have information where and when they need it and the ability to control where and when they needed it. Now, this isn't always in a control room. It could be out in the middle of the plant. It could be out in a field if you're on a feedlot, or it could even be at home after hours. Also, we needed to be able to ensure that any data we had available from the control systems was readily available and visible to people to give an indication of the true operational status and health of our processes and equipment.
Tamaki Control implemented a new ignition perspective standards framework for ANZCO Foods. This framework replaced unsupported SCADA systems and enabled new automation projects and ERP API integration solutions across its 10 sites in New Zealand. The project involved upgrading or installing Ignition 8.1 at each site and connecting them on the gateway network through an enterprise architecture with the enterprise administration module. We designed a standard layout for all perspective applications, and as you can see, we have a navigation menu on the left-hand side and a sidebar on the right-hand side that includes all critical operation information that an operator needs to see all the time. There's an alarm banner at the bottom and a header at the top. As we navigate from screen to screen, the primary view is changed. We have used Perspective's co-branding and have applied ANZCO's logo and theme colors, and you can see the colors all through the logging in process. These are some of the symbols that we built as part of the framework. These were built as lightweight SVGs and imported into Ignition, and can then be reusable. Because they're SVGs, that means that we can resize them without losing any quality, and in most cases we retain the aspect ratio. Some of these were built as flex views. For example, these tanks here can be extended. Because it's a flex view, only the middle part of the tank extends. This plate heat exchanger is configurable, and we can see we've got two pipes going through it. Using our CSS themes, we can define what type of pipes they're going to go through. So I'm going to change the bottom one to water and the top one to product. This will automatically inherit the color code from the theme system. Pop-ups are used to display critical information, and this includes monitoring and control. So for example, a motor, we have all the actions that we need on the first page. And then we've used the carousel view to then scroll across to get further information about this device, including trend for that device, any tag alarms, any tag actions taken by operators, as well as tag parameters such as the area and the tag name in the PLC, and also the wiring of all the I/O connections for that device. So for example, this motor, we have an output, some feedbacks and an isolator, and we can see where they're wired and the live values from the PLC. The framework was designed to be mobile responsive and to work with different resolutions. As we start to reduce the size, we can see that things start to come in. And then using the breakpoint view, we can see that the devices are moving around. We can see that the sidebar has disappeared, however, it's still accessible from here. We can also see that the menu bar has disappeared as well. However, we can now bring it back. If we continue to go down, we'll be reaching about an iPad size or a mobile size in landscape view. And we'll keep going until we get right down to a typical, an iPhone 14 or something like that. Device pop-ups in this view will appear from the bottom, and these are exactly the same pop-ups as you would get at larger displays at full desktops. Security is at the heart of the framework. To ensure device-based access control, Tamaki Control designed a security system that uses ignition's identity providers and security zones. Each tag belongs to a process area, requires a particular role, and belongs to a physical zone where each computer that controls that device has to be logged in from. For example, this valve over here does not allow me to control it, and we can see that by the security shield. And if I hover over that, it tells me which roles, process areas, and physical zones I need to be a part of in order to control that valve. PLC I/O racks have also been drawn on perspective, and we can see here an Allen Bradley I/O rack. We can see all the digital inputs and outputs, their states, and for the analogs we can see the 4 to 20 milliamp readings. Each site has its own local ignition historian where production data is stored. Now to access that data we can quickly build a trend. So for example, we can click on this temperature and click add to trend. We can pick this current, click add to trend, and maybe we can pick this tonnage here. Pick to trend. And then we can do all the usual chart things, like we can change the span or go into historical mode, and we can analyze the data as we please. As well as the local historians, each ignition gateway pushes the data up to a central enterprise-wide Canary Historian. And that allows us to view data from multiple sites, and we can actually access that from within perspective. So if we go to Canary Axiom, we can go and try and build a new trend. So if I go add new trends, I can see the enterprise here, and I can see all the different sites dotted around New Zealand. So if I wanted some data from this site here, I can drill into a PLC, for example, pick this temperature here, and take the input and click add. Or if I can go to this site over here and pick another temperature, for example this one, and I can go add. But as well as temperatures, as well as analog values, we can pick something like a pump or a motor. So let's have a look at motors, and we can pick this glycol pump, for example. We can pick the running state. I'm going to go add and close. And now we can see the data from 2 or 3 different sites. And again, we can do the usual chart things here. I'll show you themes as well. So we've got the default theme, which is HMI light, and that's inherited from the default ignition light screen. The next one is HMI alt, so alternative. And this was a really good example for one of the other sites. You know, the guys insisted, hey, we want green for on, not dark gray. And we said, hey, you know what, we'll just create you a new theme. And we did that after everything was engineered. It actually took no effort at all, maybe an hour's worth of work to create some extra CSS files, change a few color codes, you know, state on, use dark green instead of dark gray. And there you have it. The entire project now works with the new theme. And then the next theme is dark, which this is the future. Any application you buy now comes with a dark theme. We've seen real life scenarios where dark mode is actually quite useful. There was an instance where we had a screen in the plant that was under a fluorescent light where the operator needed to see a weight reading, and the dark theme showed up a lot better. We also created an ANZCO blue theme, and this ANZCO blue takes the blue from the ANZCO logo, and that goes through to all the pop-ups, even the alarms, the trends, and everything else.
Very impressed with where we've got to, much more than I hoped. The fact that we can now have an old hand operator basically really keen to use an iPad, actually actively using the iPad every day out on the feedlot where he needs the information. We've achieved one of our key objectives in terms of strategy. The fact that we can get a lot of the operational data through into Canary Central Time Series Historian, along with a lot of the relational data into SQL Server, allows us really to become more of a data-driven organization, which is one of our key aims. When we start getting into more maybe model-based control, predictive learning, all that sort of stuff, current technologies, we're really now enabled for it through, again, Ignition's capability and functionality. So more than happy, very impressed with the work done today by Ziad and his team, and I'm feeling really happy in terms of the future.